Hello, friends, and welcome to my stream. Now, this stream is going to be a little bit different to what I've previously done, and there is a reason for that. 3 days ago, I had the intention that this stream was very much going to be my last ever time on Destiny. And I am here to talk very openly, very honestly about that because some things need to be talked about. My thoughts, my feelings, my experiences need to be talked about if I am to continue playing Destiny. Because, in all honesty, Destiny has become my life. For the better part of 5.5 years of my life, I've been on Destiny. But in order to have this chat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly over to the farm just so I can have a nice little backdrop while I have this chat. But whether or not there's going to be any gameplay in this stream, I'm not 100% sure of quite yet. What I'm about to say is unscripted. I have no idea how this is going to go, but what I'm going to be doing is talking honestly, openly about my thoughts, feelings, and experiences with both Destiny and the community. A lot of the things I'm going to say may hit home with some of you. A lot of the things I'm going to say may rub you the wrong way. And for both of those reasons, I apologize in advance, purely because if you are affected by what I'm about to say, it means that you too have come across it sometime in your life or in your Destiny journey. And for that, I do apologize. As always, if you want to know what I'm currently running as in terms of a loadout, feel free to click on the overlay on the right hand side. That will show you what I'm loading. But as I said, today's stream isn't focused on gameplay, not today. Today is mainly focusing on talking about some very important issues and what I like to call my Destiny story. Because I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about if I am to continue with both playing Destiny and as well as streaming. Now, I'm very much aware that a lot of the things I'm going to say now are not going to be heard by a lot of people. But at the same time, for me, I feel like it's important that I do talk about these things without dying. I need to find a spot to sit. So I guess where I'll start is from the beginning. Like with all stories, you want to start from the beginning. Now, when I originally started Destiny, I was pretty much a loner. For lack of better words, I was a loner. Didn't have any friends, was very socially anxious, and I came into Destiny at the introduction from a friend who said that perhaps I could find my place on here, and I very much did. I very much found my place here in Destiny. And that is very much why I need to have this conversation now, because my place in Destiny community, what I saw back then compared to now, has very much changed. Changed my opinions, has changed my thoughts on the game, has changed my experiences within the game. And as I said at the very beginning of my stream, 3 days ago, I was very much ready to quit and move on. Now, the fact that I was ready to quit and move on is something very profound for me, because 5.5 years is a long time, and for 5.5 years, Destiny has been the main game that I've always played. I've made some long-lasting friendships on this game. Um, I've met some of those friendships in real life. I have also had some very negative experiences, some of which I will speak directly to today. I'll turn down some of the background gaming volume so you can hear me a bit better, in case that is happening. Like I said, none of this is scripted. I'm just speaking purely from the heart here. I apologize if it is a bit convoluted, a bit out there, but I need to talk about these things. Now, me as a person growing up, I had a lot of social anxiety issues. I did not have many friends. I was always academically inclined in school, and that made me ostracized by my peers. I came to Destiny and I was welcomed with open arms, and that's what I loved originally about this community, that I came in being a person who had never played a shooter in my life, and I was brought in to a community that showed me that that did not matter. Now, flash forward to about a week ago. I was receiving threats of very violent nature towards me, my person. I was receiving taunts. I was being harassed. I was harassed, all of the above. I was being ostracized. I was being removed. I was, for the most part, any synonym of those words you can think of, that's how I was being treated a week ago. Did I bring that upon myself? That is up to individual opinion. But for me as a person, I feel like no one deserves to be treated like that. I had people messaging me, posting on my various streaming platforms of Facebook, Twitter, etc., posting comments, messaging me privately, telling me very graphic things that I should do to myself. And for me, being someone who has sat with mental illness for the better part of my life, that was something that did hit very close to home for me, which is why I'm having this conversation now. The reason why all that started, there are many reasons. I think the main reason is, as a person, I am a very outspoken person. I'm a very defensive person when someone attacks me or my character. And by character, I'm not talking about my guardian, I'm talking about my personality and who I am and my values and what I hold close. Now, I am very outspoken when it comes to a lot of things, especially things that are very important to me. I can get a bit political sometimes, and I would attribute that heavily to my past. Growing up, I didn't come from much. I lived very much below the poverty line, where everything I have got to this day I've had to work for. I've had to constantly work at. I've had to sometimes go days without knowing what the next day will bring, because there was just that level of uncertainty growing up. Not to any fault of my parents' guardians. It was very much just a very unstable upbringing from no fault of their own, just from faults of societal systems that we were participating in. And that led me down a path of having to create myself, having to innovate myself, having to try to step beyond the barriers of what society believes I should be and into something better. For the most part, I believe I've done that. for the most part, I believe I have stepped beyond the box that society has put me in as the poor kid who will never make anything of his life. I've stepped very much beyond that, and the reason why I am so outspoken, the reason why I am so defensive and forward with my opinions is because when someone attacks me personally without knowing me or the struggles or the stories that I've been through, when someone attacks me on social media in such a way without knowing who I am, I take the highest level of offense to that, because for me to be where I am now, sitting in front of you with a roof over my head, with the technology to be able to do this stream, for me to be able to sit here and talk about these things, and then for someone to question me, myself, my personality, who I am, the very core of who I am, who got me to this point, who got me essentially out of that box that society had put me in to this point, for someone to question that, I can't help but be defensive. And I'm sure that if you are listening, like, you would understand why that is important to me. If you build something that you're proud of, if you build something, if you build yourself up to such a standard, and you are happy with how far you have come, you have a complete random person come and try to discredit your whole life based on one interaction in an online space. It's soul destroying. It's crushing. It paints a picture that if one random person can do that online, then the system that you tried to break out of, that tried to put you into this box for so long, the one that you had to literally go without many, many days of many, many essential things to get to where you are, that system, if one random person online can do that to me without any ramifications of their actions or their words, what is stopping the system that I spent many, many years of my life getting out of? What is stopping that system from pushing me back down again? And these are the thoughts that have been filling my head over the past week, because when not just one, not just two, but multiple people have been messaging me, multiple people messaged my streaming channels, multiple people have ended up in my block list on both PlayStation Network and Facebook and Twitter, purely because no one deserves that. At the end of the day, whether you agree or disagree with someone's opinion or not, that does not give anyone the right to attack a person personally for who they are, what they become, or essentially try to limit their future potential because you simply disagree with something that they have said. And these are the thoughts that have been filling my mind over the past week, because this isn't the first time that I almost walked away from Destiny. Another time I walked away from Destiny when I'm trying to think of the year, but I don't think the year is important. But the last time I almost walked away from Destiny was when one of my greatest allies in the gaming world of Destiny took their own life. Now, at the time, I did not understand why. As many people who have faced the tragedy of a friend or a family member taking that step, you would know that you don't understand why they do it, but at the same time, you fully understand why they did it. Like me, this person who was my greatest friend, my greatest ally in life, they spent every moment of relaxation trying to build Destiny community, trying to be a part of it. And then they had the same system that they were trying to build and be a part of break them. Now, I'm not blaming anyone or any particular community or clique or whatever for my friend taking this action. He did have some mental health issues that he was not dealing with, but at the same time, having a system that pushes someone to that point, regardless of their mental health history, as a gaming community, we should strive to be better. We are a very diverse community here on Destiny. We are a very diverse gaming community. We have people from many different expressions of identity, whether that be gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity, culture, religious beliefs, the list goes on. We are people from all different walks of life, yet there exists this dominant culture, this dominant voice that tries to oppress anything that doesn't fit their norm. And I've seen it growing in the past few years, and that's why I almost did walk away from Destiny, because this dominant culture, this dominant voice that was creeping its way into the community, which I've seen growing since Forsaken was released, this elitist culture, this, I'm not going to say white dominant culture, because there have been some people who are people of color, people from other ethnical backgrounds that have been perpetrators of this, but that is what I'm going to liken it to. The whole idea of a dominant culture, a dominant group of people trying to control, trying to facilitate how a community should be run. It's, again, like, for lack of better words, it's just soul destroying. Because when I originally came on Destiny, like I said, it was very welcoming. Everyone was welcome. This was back in Destiny 1. I believe I came in around House of Wolves, I think the expansion was called. And I finally found my place where I wasn't ostracized for being who I am. You may hear it in my voice now, but when I was younger, I had very much speech impediments of a massive lisp, as well as a stutter. Over the years, I've worked on those to get to where I am today. And it's something that I don't normally broadcast to society, because it is one of my great insecurities, and I've had people use that against me, which, again, is something that we should strive to be better. Like, if you see something in a community, whether that be Destiny or not, it is your moral obligation, your moral, ethical obligation, to not attack that person for having a differing opinion to your own. Now, there's a reason why I say this. You don't know the person. You are making assumptions about who they are based on one piece of writing that you have read on a platform. That does not tell you anything about the person other than the fact that they have this opinion. As an adult, it is your moral and ethical obligation to not attack that person, but only attack their opinion. That is how you strive to be better. That is how you be better. Because for me to consider walking away from 5.5 years of work, of building friendships, of building a community here in Australia, having to walk away from that and then walk back in to even more toxicity, it speaks to the idea that there are greater unresolved issues with both myself, which I am dealing with, which I am working on, as mental health. I've been working on for quite some time, but it also speaks to the idea that there is a behavioral issue in gaming communities. It is something that we need to address, especially here in the Destiny community. Um, and I think we're all starting to realize that our behavior in our community of Destiny is something that needs to change, considering a lot of the developments recently within the Destiny community. I will not go into what those developments are. We've all seen the community news. There's any number of developments that have happened recently that we could focus that singular point on. If anything, it's proven that we need to change. We need to strive to be better. We need to not send people private messages telling them how worthless they are. We need to not attack someone using homophobic slurs. We need to not join a group on LFG to help someone and then try to derail that progress. As a community, we all deserve to have a positive experience with Destiny. It doesn't have to be a positive experience just for some. And that's what I'm realizing. Because over the past year of playing Destiny, my experiences have been becoming less and less positive. Whether that's me tiring of what Destiny is offering me as a gaming platform, or whether that's me becoming tired in general of just all the bullshit. It is what it is. Now, I came here with the very intention of deleting all 3 of my characters today. I came here with that general intention. I was going to, on this stream, go to my character login screen and delete every single one of them. And the reason for that would have been my mental health cannot take this community anymore. Now, right now, I am in a sound mental health state. I'm perfectly calm. I have my good days, I have my bad days, just like everyone. But over the past week and a bit of being taunted, discriminated, harassed, all of the above, after all of those things, I could see how this community has been negatively impacting my mental health. But I am choosing to stick with it. Purely because I know that while a lot of my experiences have been based around toxicity lately, there is a lot of good in the Destiny community. There is a lot of good that can be done with the Destiny community. There's a lot of good that has been done with the Destiny community. For example, I'm an Australian, so I was very touched and moved by the whole Bungie efforts towards the bushfire victims. Now, that's something that our own government kind of failed to really implement any real action on. And yet here is a global community banding together, provide aid and assistance to their fellow Guardians. Like, we need to have more of this positivity and stamp out the negativity that exists within our community, the toxicity that exists within our community, because no matter how much positivity we do as a community, all it takes is one negative action to make someone disregard all of that and purely see the negative. We have a lot of positivity in this community. We have a lot of ability to be positive in this community. We have the capacity. to be compassionate. We have the capacity to be caring, to be helpful, to be Sherpas to a friend in need. We have a capacity to simply just be better. And honestly, I believe that the community can be better. Of course, it's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of effort. But if you're anything like me, and you can relate to anything I've talked about today, then I issue you this challenge. Spread positivity throughout the Destiny community, because right now, I feel like it's the war of light and darkness at the moment. A lot of negativity, a lot of positivity, all coming in at the same time. A lot of positivity, a lot of negativity, and it's up to us as guardians, as friends, as compassionate individuals, unique individuals. It's up to us to promote positivity over negativity, the light over the darkness. Now, I wanted to share something with you all. 3 days ago, I was 100% adamant that I was going to leave Destiny and never come back. Like I said, I was ready to remove my characters here on stream, potentially have a little cry over it, because I am a very emotionally charged person. It's what I will do. 5.5 years is no short span of time for anyone. So I was prepared to take that step. But then Guardians, both friends that I know and complete strangers, turned me around. Now, I'm a part of a really great clan. No clan is perfect, but the clans I'm a part of now, I'm not going to mention them because that's not what this is about, but you can look me up and if you want to know what clan I'm a part of. But the clan I'm a part of, they have helped me through some very tough times. A lot of my real life friends are a part of that clan. A lot of my online friends are now a part of that clan. And that is purely because we are all people who believe in the power of positivity. And I can see that through this community that my friends have built. And I'm honoured to be a part of that community. However, 3 days ago, I was posting on some groups I was a part of on social media platforms about this exact topic, about why I have to leave Destiny, about why I can't take it anymore. I was met with many forms of resistance. I was met with many forms of positivity. But this time, I chose the positivity to win over the negativity. And that was purely because of one thing a complete stranger had said to me. They had said that regardless of what other people think, the only thing that matters is what I think of myself. And I can never thank that person enough for telling me that very important message. Because they were right. A bunch of strangers on the internet can make calls on who I am, on what they think my values are, or what they think who I am. But what they can't make a call on is how I see and view myself as a person. That is what's important to me. How I see, how I view, how I act as a person is what's important to me. That is the only thing that matters to me. And right now, in all honesty, I feel good with who I am. There are times when some of the comments, I read over them and wonder if there's a thread of truth to those comments. But at the same time, I know from my own experiences that hurt people hurt people. These people may not know me, may not care what my opinion is, but essentially what they are doing to me by sending these messages is they themselves are trying to find a way to cope. They're trying to find a way to cope with a system, with a community that they don't fully understand themselves. Does that make their behavior okay? No. But it lets you be able to empathize with who they are and what they're trying to achieve. They are just as lost as we all are when it comes to our opinions and our thoughts and our feelings. They just have a very different way of approaching it. Don't get me wrong, when some of them say some of those mean things, I snap back. Because I too am in that raw, vulnerable moment of emotion. But in hindsight, I can understand where they're coming from. I don't understand their words, but I understand their intention of the words. And that is to unburden themselves with the pain of what they are feeling. They're trying to pass their pain onto someone else so that it's not their burden anymore. And us as a community, again, have that moral and ethical obligation to spread positivity to ensure that our fellow guardians don't have to face that darkness alone. That is what it's all about. We are a community of diverse people from all different backgrounds, all different parts of the world. So there's no reason whatsoever why we can't all band together and learn more about each other, accept each other for who we are, accept our differences, and not try to push the dominant status quo that only 40 or so % of the community will adhere to. It's our obligation to learn about each other, to accept each other, and to help unburden the pain of others through dialogue, through actions, through helping. Now, the other night, I did a Sherpa session with 5 completely brand new people who have never done a raid before. Now, for me, that is my way that I contribute positively to the community. I like to Sherpa other people through raids because, for me, that's what community is all about. It's helping your fellow guardian achieve something that they never thought they would be able to achieve. In this group, I had 2 people from the US, 1 person from the UK, 1 person from Australia, myself also being Australian, and 1 person from Tokyo. And at the end of the raid, one of the 2 Americans who was a female, I had 3 females in this group, which is the first time I've ever had females in my Sherpa sessions. One female in this group began to cry. And now me being the emotionally charged person I am, began to cry also. But this touched me and reminded me about why I fell in love with this community to begin with. She was crying because she never ever thought in her life that she would have the ability or the understanding to be able to finish the endgame activity like a raid. And us as a community, I feel like we all have that obligation to be able to provide that experience for someone, to give them that sense of achievement, to make them break their own barriers and push out of the system that they have put themselves into, make them see their potential. As a community, we have the ability, the capacity to do that. Since then, I have kept in contact with this person, and next week I will be taking them through another raid. They are less nervous this time, and they are way more excited because they know what they are capable of. But at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. each one of us has a facet of this game that we class ourselves to be more than adept in, whether that be lore, whether that be strikes, whether that be raids, nightfalls, PvP. We all have a facet of this game that we enjoy, that we know a lot about, and that we are skilled in. And there is no reason, nothing stopping us from sharing that with another Guardian who could benefit. Because if you just take my one example out of the many that I could give, I've changed that person's life, but that's not why I did this. I'm happy that that was a result of my actions, but I did this because that's what the community should be about. Helping others achieve their goals and break their barriers. Now, I won't continue this on much longer because I don't want to repeat or waffle on for any longer than I should, but what it comes down to is this. It is repeating, but I feel like it bears repeating. As a community, we have the moral and ethical obligation to practice and preach positivity. If you are choosing consciously to go down the negative path, I ask that you do so with self-conscious thoughts in mind. And what I mean by this is, if you are choosing to be negative, you need to understand why. Because a lot of the time, like I said, hurt people hurt people. And if you are choosing to be negative, potentially you need to reflect. You need to stop and reflect. Your words, your actions, you may not see it, but they do have consequences. It won't have consequences for you, but they may have consequences for another. Now, I want to leave you all today by, again, talking about that complete stranger who offered me some words of kindness. The only thing that matters is how you see yourself, how you think of yourself. That is all that matters. People can tell you, people can say anything about you, but how those words affect you is your choice. And that could be the difference between deleting and quitting 5.5 years of work, or staying with the community and believing and seeing the best in them. And that's what I'm choosing to do. I'm choosing to stay behind and help create and see the best in this community, because I've seen it before and I know we can do it as a community. This person also sent me a video, which probably the most emotionally charged video I've ever seen, but it's Destiny related, and I recommend everyone go see it. I will post the link in my message box underneath my stream here, and I would love everyone to go have a look at this video, because this random act of kindness from a stranger in an online space, as well as this video, ultimately contributed to why I'm sitting here before you today and choosing to believe in this community rather than walk away. So I thank you all for listening to my story. This is my Destiny story. Let me know what your Destiny story is. Let me know why you come to this community, why you partake in this gaming environment. What brings you to Destiny every single day? For me, it's the opportunity to be better. It's the opportunity to discover new worlds. It's the opportunity to make new friends. It's the opportunity to immerse myself in something other than life. And for those reasons, I'm choosing to stay here and commit to this community. And I hope you do the same. Thank you for joining me.